Good. Now, when it comes to social media, there are different ways a designer or an individual can leverage it to benefit them. Not only for you to become, let's say, an influencer or get that viewership, the liking, the following, or the rest. Social media for designers or creatives is so important, but we underplay it a large percentage of time. We assume that there are people who are supposed to be in that side and there are people who are supposed to be on our side as designers or creatives, which isn't the case. These are supposed to go hand in hand. You can't build a personal brand without putting yourself out there. At the same time, you can't be seen out there if you don't put yourself out there. I saw a designer on TikTok saying, it's not the good design that gets you clients, it's how loud you are. How loud you are means how much do you put yourself out there, how much are you seen out there in whatever platform you choose. Remember, there is no restriction to which platform you can be, which platform you can maintain your brand on. That is personal brand. Now, understand, personal brand and agency brand, those are two different things. Personal brand is me standing as Samuel Otieno and deciding that, yeah, I'm going to represent myself as Samuel Otieno, a designer, and that's how I come forward to a client. Agency brand, company, they come in form of, we come as an organization. You don't represent yourself as an individual. You say, I am Samuel Otieno, I'm coming from artwork. So I hope we understand. For those who didn't understand me saying personal brand, you need to understand the difference. Personal brand is you representing yourself as the individual, and an agency or company brand is you representing a company, you standing in for the company when approaching a client. Now, for today, we are talking about personal brands, no agency branding. So when you don't get to understand your objective as an individual, and how social media needs to bring you or help you up, you need to get to this point. I think I'm circling down back, but you need to understand how you need social media for your graphic design. Yes, you can design. Yes, you can do. We have people who do full brand identities. We have people who do motion graphics. We have people who do social media designs. We have people who do that category, those groups. Now you need to understand how you need social media to help you. Now for our agenda today, it will be, we'll have four major sections. They will have broken up points. The first one will be why graphic designers should be on social media. This is the why you need the social media as a graphic designer, as a motion designer. Why it is important to put it in within your skill set or life. Life is too ambitious, but let's say as the career part of it. Now, how to create content that attracts clients. We understand everybody is in the goal to get more clients. Now, we can't just put out content for the sake of putting out content. We need to understand why we are putting out content and which is the best way to approach a certain category of client that you're looking for. The other bit is the best platforms for designers. Currently, we have lots of platforms, so you need to understand which platform works best for you and which platform needs this kind of thing. The different approaches that you'll have to take to market your content or to get certain clients. Which platforms are for which clients, which platforms are for which purposes, and how will they help you as a graphic designer. Now, after learning all this, I'll give you a little guide on how to post consistently. Now, this is to help you get a hang of what you're trying to do.
You are muted because a lot of people are on this call.
Sorry. Sorry for that. Just a minute. Can anyone see my video feed? Now, as I was saying, so after everything, we need to understand how to post consistently. Posting consistently is what will help you understand what your main objective is, how you'll attain it. So if you are planning to build a community, what do I need to do to build this community? If you want to showcase your work, how can I do it, and in what ways will be efficient for me? I hope that's clear. So now we'll start with why graphic designers should be active on social media. There are different reasons why you need to be in social media. One, because it's the current way of things. The world is getting digital, and you need to get digital too. We have seen less of paper and more of digital, more of computer work, more of kind of delivery. So if you're trying to push in or get access to more people, you need to go digital. And remember, if everybody is on digital, then there is where you need to look for them. That's the most standard or basic principle of why you need to get on digital. Now, this is an illustration of the kind of balance you might get if you decide to do consistent posting, if you decide to put content out there, and the correlated client engagement that you might get. That is them reaching out, that is them consulting, asking questions, get you booking gigs. Now, this is not the exact number. We can't say if you post after a week you'll get 2 clients. No. Please understand me, it's not the case. So you need to understand that if this is the situation that will happen, the more you put yourself out there, the more you're exposed. There's something we people in the digital marketing side call algorithm. Now, the algorithm pushes you out as per the interactions of your platform and what you're putting out. So the first and the first factor that puts you out there is the type of content you are putting out. The second part is who interacts with your content, which type of people, how many times do they interact with your content. So the reason for more consistency equals, as per the graph, more consistency equals more clients. The reasoning behind it is the more you put yourself out there, the more your page or platform explores more audiences and more people, more clients. The more the audiences, the more the clients, and the more the content you put, vice versa. So every bit of posting gives you, let's say, an average of one more person who can see what you're doing. So if you're not posting, nobody will know you're a designer. And if nobody knows you're a designer, then the likelihood of you getting clients or booking clients for the specific skill set that you have is close to zero. So you'll be dependent on, let's say, things such as referrals. Actually, it's only referrals, because if you can't put yourself out there, nobody will know you're doing something unless for people you have actually done it for. So I hope we're getting each other clearly until there. You need it to be out there. Okay? So the other reason why you need social media as a designer. Just a minute. The other reason why you need social media as a designer is to showcase. It's a social proof. Now, as it's written there, social proof matters. Now, there are different perspectives to this. There is the option of the part of you showing that you can actually do it. Now, this is you having a portfolio, showing work that you've done for different clients, different people, different audiences, different companies, even for your personal projects. This mostly gives a client or audience the overview of what you do, or what you basically do when you're doing when you say I'm a designer, so this is what I do. They don't have to ask, so where is your work? No, if I meet your page, I'll scroll through it, I'll see Samuel Otieno does social media designs. I can see samples here and there. I see he's a brand identity designer. I can see a logo here, a brand identity, a brand guideline here and there. That gives you, it's a pre-portfolio kind of format for your client or audience, for whoever will interact with your platforms. The other bit also is for you, is you sharing testimonials and to show that you're actually working with real people, or these are people you have made work for and they have liked their work. Now let's say sorry, let me see what's going on. Someone saying they can't see my video feed, so let me try and see what the issue is. Just a minute. Can you see the video now? Just a minute. Kidogo tu, just bear with me.
You're muted because a lot of people are on this call.
Sorry. Can't they? Nice. I hope I'm visible now. Okay. Nice. So let me get back to presenting. I hope I'm visible now. Nice. Now let's. Am I visible now? Andrew? Nice. Sorry for that. So as I was saying, you having client testimonial, I understand most designers don't put it out there, or rather it's a personal kind of scenario, but having testimonials, let's say for your putting it out there that a client said this design was amazing, it delivered what we needed, it's always an important thing for the person who's trying to get to you or get that particular service. It's the same scenario as you trying to buy a product online. Let's say you're going to Jumia, you know the product you want, but there are various vendors. Now one vendor has 0 reviews and the other vendor has 5 reviews, but they have like 2 pictures, 3 pictures about the product. The other one has more images but less reviews. There's a high possibility you'd pick up the person with more reviews because there's a credibility and form of trust that is built behind the person. Remember, reviews also come in good and bad, so let's focus on the good for now. So you having that bit of positive ground to show that my work has impacted in this format, my work has made this client be able to get this, or it has improved their social platforms. Now this is for people who do social media designs. For event scenarios, let's say for motion graphic designers, how did it impact the event visually? So that process of being able to give the client let's say a butterfly kind of feeling that they at least have a kind of relation with people. There are people who have used his product, so I can kind of trust him. And remember, the reviews or testimonials are not the last bit of them believing in your work. Remember, we talked about you actually having work that you have done before. So you can't have testimonials but you don't show your work. So having the work, then they are backed up by testimonials. That gives the client the belief that you can deliver what they want as per their level. So remember, every client has a different kind of need and a different category of want. A designer who charges, let's say for brand identity, 50 to 100k, and a designer who charges 10 to 30k, they have their own types of clients. So for every client who will be looking at you, the testimonials, the work showcase, if somebody reaches to the level of looking for testimonials, trying to understand if people have been pleased with your work, it means they're okay with their let's say what can I name it, let's say the brand, what you're doing. It's the same as when you get to the cart option in your online purchase, it means you've been satisfied by the product that you have seen. You've gotten trust to believe in the vendor who's sending the particular product, and now you are ready to make the commitment by making the payment, or now for the client making a booking for the service itself. So remember, social proof matters. That is showcasing your work, having evidence of what you actually do. I'm a designer, graphic designer, I do social media design. Then you open my page, you see the social media designs. I'm a motion graphic designer, I do motion graphics for events, blah blah blah. You open my page, you see the samples. Then the testimonials come later. So if you cleared the project and a client liked it, mostly also you can try do it for stories and the likes, but that we'll talk about later on. So that's the bit of it. Now the next one is, as I said, everybody is moving into the digital space. So remember, social media is where they're looking for everything. Currently, if you want to buy anything tech-wise, let's say tech-wise, I can have an illustration. The latest purchase I made was a keyboard. So if you want a keyboard, the first place you would head to is TikTok. Search which type of keyboard you're looking for, based in Kenya, based in Nairobi. Then the first options will come, you review. Same thing applies to people who are looking for services. Now, if I'm looking for a graphic designer, social media manager, video editor, photographer, long ago, not so long, but the advent of tech has made it seem so long ago, but you used to use Google for everything. You go Google down, write your query, looking for graphic designer based in Nairobi, Kenya. Then it will bring you the links and profiles and that. Currently, TikTok is the next Google. You type in your request, graphic designer based in Nairobi, graphic designer based in Kenya, graphic designer Mombasa, Eldoret, all those, depending with what you need. Then you'll get video options or suggestions, profile suggestions of the possible people you might want to engage with. Now, this situation is for the client. So you need to understand that if you're looking for clients to buy from you, now the service itself, you need to understand that social media is a marketplace for you. It's not a platform where you're trying to showcase your life or something. It's a place where you put your product and you need to market it for the client to buy it. Same format, Jumia. You have various vendors with the same products. So you have vendor 1, there's vendor 2, there's vendor 3. You need to understand that everybody is coming looking for a certain product. So every option that they will find, if it's working for them, they will move with it. If it's not, they'll move ahead to look for other products. For 2024, 2025, the most popular platforms that were doing well for designers, let's say creatives and designers as a whole, were LinkedIn, TikTok. LinkedIn for people who are looking for top end kind of clients and who are ready to be super into the professional side of it, got into that side. For TikTok, it gave avenue to every individual who's ready to put in the work to put themselves out there. We weren't really left to the mercy of Instagram. Most of us, I know designers, who have suffered on the hands of Instagram. Instagram is tough, I can say it. But it depends on how you view it and how you use it. So for the various platforms, you need to understand how you're putting yourself out there and how it will help you maneuver through everything else. Now, the part where there's some difficulty, penye kuna kutaushwishi kidogo, unasikia Dragon Motor texting. Yeah. This is the place. Creating content that attracts clients. The big mistake that I see as a content manager currently is people create content for themselves. People forget that you're not creating content for you, you're creating content for an audience. You need to understand that there's a difference between what you'd like and what a client would want to see, what a client would want to interact. Currently, people are no longer looking for people. They're no longer looking for you. People are just randomly scrolling. So you need to understand, what can I create that when a client gets to this platform, ataona, I see Samuel Otieno is doing this and this. I've been needing a designer. They check it out. So you need to understand that part. People are no longer trying to look for it. People are just scrolling through because they know at some point I'll meet what I need. And that's what we are morphing into when it comes to the digital space. Now, when it comes to creating content, the main thing that I always advise most of my design students, focus on the 4 P's. Now, the 4 P's, the first one is always portfolio. Showcase your work. Without evidence of work, you're not a designer. Yeah, you might have the craziest setup, you might have the craziest gear, everybody can call you a designer, but if you don't have your work out there, you're not a designer. So, what's your evidence? What's your proof? The next one is process. Now, remember, in every creative output, there is a process that you put in to work this out. The thing that most of us haven't learned or unlearned, I can say unlearned, we didn't get the guide on how to do things strategically. Now, if you want to design a social media design, how do you go about it? Where do I start? Which are the steps I take? Now, we obviously know I'll do research, I'll go to Photoshop, download some assets, put them together, make the magic, create an output, make it pop. as they say. But you need to understand there is the real steps. I can say the real steps that you need to take when doing a concept. A logo design, you need to do research about the brand, understand what the company is about, do sketches, then do various samples, then try to integrate them into the digital and print space and see if they'll work out, adjust them. You see, that whole process. Now, for content wise, you need to record that process if you're ready to put it out there. If you already have an output of a task and you are confident that you can put it on your platform, then you need to have these behind the scenes, the process of creating it as part of the package of posting the content. So if you have a logo and you're posting the final brand identity of it, you need to show us some of the sketches you made, some of the samples you had before you took the final option, the ideas you collected, what made you come up with this specific idea. That is what the process in 4 P's stands for. Now, personality. This is a difficult one when it comes to designers. We don't really get to understand ourselves when it comes to design. Like, we don't pick ourselves out of the space of being a designer and understand how Samuel Otieno and the design merge. So you always need to understand where do you fall as an individual and as a designer. As for me, I'm a minimalist, and most of my designs are minimal and clean. Some. It depends with the client needs. So you always need to understand where do you fall as an individual. What's your unique style? What do you like in your designs? Do you have a style? That's the other thing. Maybe we'll talk about it later on in future sessions. But you always need to sit down and understand what's my style, how does it impact my designs, my personal designs, personal projects, and client projects, and how do I blend it in to balance the worlds. As I said, I'm a minimalist and sometimes not. So you try and see, as you as a designer, how does that work. So for personality kind of content, that is you giving an overview of how it works for you, how design comes out for you, what you see, what you value as good design, what determines that a design is good for you, what makes a design great for you, what makes a design bad for you, what doesn't work for you when it comes to graphic design, those kind of talks. And the last one, proof. This is typically showing what the client wanted, and then telling us that I delivered this, then what the client's response was, the whole scenario response from client after doing the task and before doing the task. This also works for scenarios. There's a period we used to do redesign challenges with my students. So if you're doing a before and after, a client reached out, they need a logo redesigned, a banner redesigned, motion graphic redone, that kind of situation, or updated, or a design updated. Let's not call it redesign, but update. You need to always showcase the before and after, the response to the client, what they thought before, what they thought now. Also the situations where a client give you an idea of what they want, but then you convince them into accepting your concept and it turns out well for them. So that is what you need to focus on and see. The 4 P's: portfolio, showcase your work; process, behind the scenes always kills, like in a good way. Behind the scenes content is always a killer on the platforms. Personality, identify who you are when it comes to design or graphic design. Then proof, evidence muhimu. Without evidence, you're nothing. Without evidence and portfolio, same situations. Portfolio, remember, is not every work is what you value as best of your work. I might let me put that across. A portfolio is a showcase of your best work. So ukiona ile kazi umefanya and you believe it's amazing, that is what you need to put out there. So it's normally a selection of what you value as best of your works. I hope tuko salama. Now I think yes, let's do this section, then maybe little. Okay, now the other bit is problem solving over aesthetics. Now this I can say this section is always a broader perspective. I try to find a way how to bring it out when it comes to social media for designers, but I realize it's a broader perspective. Now for this section is you need to understand what you're trying to address as a designer, but also what I remembered is the fact that you're doing that particular task is it means that you understand what objective you're trying to attain or what problem you're trying to solve. Now this is there's a statement I used to say, we graphic designers are problem solvers, we are not artists. You are not employed by a client to create something magical, no. You're employed by a client to create something that is understandable, something that can communicate what the client needs. Now if it's a marketing campaign, let it communicate fully and clearly. If it's a logo, let it communicate what the brand is. If it's a motion graphic, let it communicate about the event, the organization, the activity, the product. You are never an artist. So for this particular topic, it's always the question where you as a designer now, do you understand what you are supposed to do? Do you understand what you are needed to do? Do you understand where you stand? So it's always a tricky bit kind of situation, because most people, you might find, they don't understand what they need to do, but at the same time they deliver. So how do you deliver? But basically it falls on that you need to understand what challenge you are addressing for that particular task. What is the problem you're trying to solve? Remember, designers are problem solvers, not artists. I hope I'm clear there. Yeah. The next one, addressing client pain points. Most of us designers, we receive a communication, I need a design, and then sir, I can do it, social media design. Yeah, but you need to understand, when you're getting to putting yourself out there, you need to understand, why am I putting myself for this particular kind of clients? Why am I joining this certain group of clients? So what can I say? What example I can use? As a designer, you're marketing yourself to get clients who are in fintech. So what problems have you been seeing within the fintech industry and design industry? Like in terms of design in fintech, but in terms of design, what is not being delivered? Where are they coming short? And now you narrow it down to the client you're targeting. Let's say I'm targeting Safaricom. I think they're using a lot of green, and why do I think a lot of green is bad? Then you give this illustration of this and this and this will happen if you use these different colors. If you blend in these colors, it will. That perspective of understanding, a client has an issue but they don't know it's an issue. A client has a problem but they don't know it's affecting their business. A client has bad designs but they don't know that's the number one reason why their platforms are not doing well. A client has a bad UI, bad UX, and they don't understand why people are not staying on their website more and the likes. You need to understand, where does it hurt most for your client, in a good way though. It's always a motivation to understand, what can you help the client with, what can you solve for the client. I hope that makes sense. Now when it comes to platforms, before I start that, anybody has a question? Does anybody have a question until there, before niendelee ku rambo? Anyone has a question? If you have a question, you can just type it up on the chat, then I can check it out. That is, if you have a question. Okay, so now the best platforms for designers. Everybody has a favorite platform, But when it comes to this situation of being a designer on the platform, it's a different scenario. You using TikTok for your personal situations is okay. But now when it gets to you putting out the work, you need to understand why I need to put it on this platform and not on this platform, and why I need to focus more on this platform and not this platform. Mugambi, we're getting there. Though it's an indirect, I'll have an indirect answer, but also I'll have a direct situation to approach it. Now, Beyonce, I think every designer or creative now that puts in people in video and visual photo still now as designers, Beyonce is popular for being a portfolio kind of platform. Now, if you don't want a website, you have Beyonce account. Like before everything changed, before having websites became easy, Beyonce was it, and it still is. Most agencies go to look for designers on these platforms, and also for serious clients. Now, serious clients, I mean clients who understand what they are trying to look for. Now, they understand that a designer needs to have this kind of portfolio, these kinds of systems, this kind of designs to showcase. Beyonce also gives you access to save your, I can say it's a visually pleasing Google Drive for your designs. So you get to put in your projects, case studies. Mostly case studies, we talk about brand identities. The most case studies are mostly about branding that I've seen on Behance, because those are the only thing. Mostly brand identities deal with lots of content that you cannot put out on, let's say, Instagram. I can't put out what a company is about, the mission of the company, the pattern that I designed for the company, the merchandise I designed for the company, stickers, banners, all in an Instagram post. I hope you understand. So Behance takes all the load of having all your design, let's say, design assets in one place, but still in a well curated way. Now, remember, having a website is nice, but before you reach to the website point, you need somewhere to store your place. That's where I say Behance, as much as it was the digital portfolio for you, it still can be. So you can put your stuff here, portfolios, you can upload them and still have it as a reference point. So when a client sends you a message and says, please share a portfolio of what you do, you typically copy a link of your portfolio, share it, rather than sending a PDF file. One thing I know or I've experienced, people in HR don't open PDF files. They're straining. So if you can do with the links, that works. And if there's a different opinion, you can share. But most interactions I've had, people don't do PDFs a lot, really. But yeah, you can always have that as a backup. But doing digital, the best way. The next one, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the suit area kind of social media where everything serious takes place, where every serious person is. Now, LinkedIn is known for two things. Professionals are there, but also professionals are there to connect, but also LinkedIn is a platform where you look for jobs. It's like, let's say, where if an Instagram and Fiverr came together. Yeah, I think that would make sense here. Fiverr is the job platform. Instagram is the connecting platform. If they came together, they'll have LinkedIn. See? So LinkedIn gives you access to high-end kind of clients, because you're connecting with people who are CEOs, managers, directors for big companies that you'll work with, or you would want to interact with. It's not all about work, but let's say interact with. Then there is you meeting fellow designers. Now, the when it comes to the section of meeting fellow designers and creatives, this is always to get feedback. I say mostly we for me personally, I put out my work to understand or learn new content about, learn new things about whatever I'm doing, or get guidance for what I'm doing. Now let's say if you put a design but you made an error, or you put a design out and there's a thing that you never knew but somebody told you, it gives you that avenue of getting professional advice from professionals. Yeah, that, I hope that makes sense. So it gives you access to big people who have worked to play in places that actually, I can say places that actually matter. I hope you understand what I mean. But yeah, people who have experience, people who have interacted together. Same situation, most of us who are here, we've met on LinkedIn because you connected with me. So that kind of situation. Now, the other bit is also share articles and professional updates. Now, for this, remember, currently the only platforms that support LinkedIn post is the likes of Facebook, Twitter, and which one? Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Okay, the common ones. But now you see, Twitter is a banter platform. Facebook, we know why we don't do Facebook. I hope you understand. So this is the only place you'll put in a link and people will actually interact with it professionally. We're not spamming. No, LinkedIn, you'll put in a link and people will actually read it. So if you're sharing a case study link of a project you did with a certain company, if you are sharing a professional update of what you are doing within your career or skill set, let's say I managed to finish a course in motion design, people will interact with it and try to reach out and understand, so what services do you offer now? So it gives you an avenue where you are not getting a random engagement with no possible ROI, return on it. Not really return on investment, but let's say you're not getting engagement for the sake of the platform. So somebody came across your platform and they decided to no. I think LinkedIn gives more proper engagement as compared to most platforms, because people actually try to sit down and read what you're sharing, see what you're sharing. So I hope that kind of separates the other platforms from LinkedIn. Now, I saw a question from Mugambi about how long should I post on LinkedIn for me to get clients. Now, getting as you said at the beginning of the session, getting clients is solely subjective on the quality and the kind of what the client wants. But also there's no definitive number that will tell you post 5 times and then you'll get a client. The purpose of posting is actually to put yourself out there. It's not a sure bet. It's never a sure goal that if I post 5 times a day I'll get a client. No, it only gives you the opportunity of being seen by more people. So when they get interested, then you'll purchase from them. It's the same thing. How many times have you seen Sunlight ad, Safaricom ad? I think those are the most common ones. Which one again? Like, how many times have you seen those ads, and how many times have you gone immediately to purchase that product because you've seen it? So use that same system. As much as you see the ad every time, it doesn't mean every time you see the ad you'll make the purchase of that particular product. It just gives reminding you and create the notion that this thing actually exists. So remember it in the back of your mind that there's something I'm selling. So next time you see me around, you can hit me up. But on average, so far, personally, if you do quality content for LinkedIn, currently for me, I'm doing educational content, but also showcasing my work. Now, mostly for LinkedIn, I do before and afters and brand identities and guidelines. So on average, I do 5 posts a week, one post per day. If you're able to do more, it will still be okay, but you can get, let's say, an average of, with good work. Now let's say your actual projects, I believe, on an average of 3 to 5 in a month. If one, your quality of work is great, and also if when you're given the task, you'll deliver. But remember, these are things that will change per client and per situation, so there isn't an exact number for it. It's just you being consistent and hoping. That's the craziest word I can use, but hoping that you get a client. But also there is the bit of you approaching. Now, I've never done cold DMs, but I want to try it this year. If you see a company you're interested in, you do a cold DM and reach out to them and tell them that I've been seeing this and this and this, and I was requesting if I could work with you on this project. So I haven't done much research on it, but I think it's something that would work well for LinkedIn and most platforms. Let's say Instagram for brands. Yeah, I believe that can work. The other question was, how do I verify my account on LinkedIn without a passport? Kenyan ID doesn't work. For Kenya currently, they're only doing passport. Also, I see you've said you've lost your profiles because of not verifying. I believe what you can do now is doing the two-step verification and trying to secure account extremely. Extremely is a strong word. Let's say properly. I also did lose my account beginning of last year. So it's something that is happening currently in LinkedIn, but they're trying to adjust it. So if you can do this two-step verification, then apply for your ID, apply for your passport. Passport is important by that. So if you can work on getting the passport, but in the meantime, make sure you have a two-step verification system that is streamlined and is less impenetrable. Yeah, that would kinda save you up. What are the measurable milestones to getting clients through social media for like UI UX designers? Now for UI UX, I'm not an expert on it, so I can't really give a direct range for how we can gauge you getting clients on social media for that. But what I know is LinkedIn and UI UX designers works well, because there are few currently in Kenya. There are few designers like not to step on anybody's toe, like real designing, like full design. We're not talking about our WordPress design. Let's understand this. When you say UX UI, you're doing the full stuff on Figma, XD, whatever. It's just those two platforms. Sorry. I think LinkedIn does well for these, but also at the same time, I believe they do not only do the design work. I hope you understand that there is I believe it's product design. The UI UX UI design falls under product design, where you sit with a round table, discuss the product, understand the product, how it works. Now the UX part of it, user experience, is the feel to the product. The UI is how it's presented. So how does the client interact with the product? The UX. How does the client see the product? The UI. So it's a tricky part for me, but I believe if somebody understands fully what they are doing when it comes to UX UI, a couple of case studies on LinkedIn would push you to the right audiences or clients. Now, for Mugambi, I think I answered that. No, so I believe we can continue now. Next one is Instagram. Instagram is a visual platform. It used to be a platform to build community, but the algorithm kinda messed people up. So mostly a visual representation, and it's the easiest platform for everybody so far. Initially, the easiest platform was Facebook, but now it's Instagram. So people come into Instagram if they want to view a profile mostly. Also, the availability of different formats of posting now: post, stories, reels, yeah, they're just, and the live option. So it always gives you the opportunity to share your works in different formats. If you're doing behind the scenes video, you're able to share that. If you're doing the slides on a brand identity, you're able to do that. I believe Instagram, it's more visual and than really building platform or what. And now the other bit also is I have found more inspirations on Instagram, and let's say Instagram and Pinterest, than the likes of TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. So every platform, LinkedIn is a learning. If I was to give a tag to each platform: LinkedIn, a learning platform; LinkedIn and YouTube, learning platform; TikTok, connecting, building audience platform; Instagram, Behance, visual, putting in your portfolio. If you don't have a Behance, you can have an Instagram, but make sure it's updated like frequently so that it's loaded with your showcase. Because Instagram, if you do 2 scrolls, if you have few less content, you are at the bottom of the feed. So make sure if you're using Instagram as your portfolio, then you have to have a lot of work showcased there. Yeah, I believe for Instagram that's it. TikTok has the best algorithm in that it gives you great access to different audiences, different categories, and you don't have to do a lot for it. Put out good content, it will take you to any person who will be interested in that. That's the number one thing that I like about TikTok. The algorithm gives you the right traction for whatever you're putting out, but at the same time it can frustrate you properly. So there's that and that. Remember also, TikTok is a more video based platform, so for us who share slides or carousels, kinda videos posts don't do well, but the video posts do well. So that's also the thing. So you need to also weigh in that, which content type am I posting and where does it perform well, or what for this particular platform, what type of content do they support more as compared to the other. You see here, the best platform to build visibility. Yeah, if you want to be seen, TikTok is the way. Not the only way, but the best way currently. And also, it's the only platform that you don't have to work so hard to prepare content. A 5-second video with the right information, bad lighting. Okay, don't do it with bad lighting, but I hope you're getting my point. It's the only platform that accepts anything that is content and actually pushes it out. So for somebody who's starting to build up a brand or build up a community, I would recommend TikTok as something to build. But remember, you need to drive traffic to other platforms if you want to be on other platforms. See, if you're, let's say, for situation of influencers, they build on TikTok, then they drive traffic to Instagram, YouTube. So you need to understand, where are you building this, why are you building this community, and where do you want the traffic to go. I hope I'm making sense. The last and final one, the hardest one, YouTube. YouTube is not for selling, but also can come in hand if you get to the right levels. Now, the only way you can earn with YouTube, as we all know, monetization, but it's kind of hard to get there. 1K subs, 4,000 watch hours, and they are public watch hours. So your video can have watch hours, but they're not public watch hours. Still don't understand how that works, because every video, if every view is public, then if every view was viewed by somebody and it was not run on ad, it's public. But why the difference in public watch hours? One day we'll break that down. But yeah, YouTube mainly is also building community, putting out content and tips there out there for other designers, creatives to relate to or learn from. That is why when you have a problem on Photoshop, you go how to, then you'll find Kamuindi Fulani, Pixelperfect. How many of you use Pixelperfect? Yeah, you'll find that guy with the solution. Other designers, yeah. So YouTube is for those who want to teach mostly. It's not a platform to really build community or learn a lot on it. So you need to understand that. Now that is why I was saying, for these particular platforms, you need to understand what your objective is. Now, me as somebody who wants to mentor or teach, LinkedIn is my number one platform. Then comes TikTok. TikTok and Instagram fight for the number 2 position. YouTube comes third, then Behance last, because I'm building my website. So you need to understand which platforms do I want to be on and why. I want to get high-end clients, LinkedIn. I want to create brand awareness for myself, that I'm a designer and I want many people to see me. I've seen many junior designers. I can't say junior designers per se. Okay, I can say junior designers per the level of design, but I've seen they have crazy numbers on TikTok. So you need to understand, do I want to build a community first, then now venture into upskilling, and then try to go to LinkedIn and look for proper clients, you see? So you need to balance it out. But the best bet is always starting with TikTok. The best bet, if you're ready to create content, if you're ready to put out your content, to put out your work out there, TikTok will be the greatest platform I can advise anybody. Social UX, graphic design, social media design, YouTube, video editing, anything. If you want to do anything, start there. People would say it's overcrowded, but you're a designer, you're working. How many designers do you think there are? Currently we have a community that for now currently I think we are at around 120, if I'm not wrong. All those, or hopefully let's say 100 are designers, so they're all working. So you see, every brand will need a designer. It's not a matter of how crowded it is. Remember, I said one thing clearly. It's not the greatest design that wins, it's the loudest designer. So put yourself out there, be the loudest one. You might pop up and win the particular gig that you're meant to get. Any questions until there? If anyone has a question, you can send it on the chat or ask it. Okay. Now, the next part is posting consistently without burnout. Oh yeah, there's somebody who has asked a question. Can I join a community? I'm looking for such to learn and interact and even vent on some of the frustrations I meet. Man, I get you. I will share a link to the community before the session ends, when we will be doing the Q&A. If somebody wants to add some points, I know I haven't covered everything, so if you have any info you would like to share, there will be a time for it. I think by around 9:45. Yeah, so yeah, you can do that then. I'll share the community link, Mugambi, so you can join. Now, posting consistently without burnout. I think every designer knows burnout. It's something we carry around us, we carry with us like an ID. Nakwanga part of life. I think it's just something we have to go through. So when it comes to creating content, we need to understand first, you designing and you creating content are two different things. You designing is delivering for client. You creating content is delivering for content. So it's another part-time job. If you're doing a 9 to 5, that's another part-time job. If you're doing a freelance or consultancy, that's another client. So ni kama niseme situation gani which isn't if you, for people who have worked in freelance, most of us have worked in freelance. I'm sure most have worked in freelance. If you have a 9 to 5 and the client calls you, the other client calls you, I have a social media design I need by this time. You always sit down, assess if you can do it, and plan if the deadline is flexible. Now, the same thing applies to social media. You need to understand there is no format cast in stone, like you need to do your content in this particular way or in this specific format. Let's clearly understand that. The first thing is to understand which types of content you need to put out there. And I think I misarranged my, or I didn't write it. Yeah, I kind of missed it out. Now, I think I'll add it on my list. But the types of content that you need to post. The first, we begin with formats. The first format, the formats of content you will need to post mostly for that will run for most of the platforms is the normal standard posts that can be single or carousel. Carousels are the images, the posts that contain slides. So when you go to Instagram, you find an image, a post has a couple of photos. Same with LinkedIn, you see somebody has posted a PDF file with a couple of slides. That's a carousel. That's for posts. Then there's the reel. The reel also translates to a vertical video format. This is a 9x16. I believe most of you know 9x16, 1080, 1920. That's the standard phone kind of format. Most of them, the estimated runtime is 30 to 1 minute long. So that's that. Then there is the story format. The story format works for platforms such as Instagram and TikTok. The first two formats, the post and the reels, work for every platform. I think apart from Behance, but every other platform that can accept a video, it works for it. Then the next one is video. Now, reel and video are different for different platforms. When you say video, it means it's a 16:9 in that it's horizontal. So that mostly works for long form kind of content. So which is adopted, that format is adopted for people like, for platforms like LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok trying to adopt it, but kinda ish on how it appears on the platform. But yeah, but you need to understand which kinds of platforms you can create content. That is, you can create from what you're doing first, then you can start creating unique content. Now, when you get to the various posts, if let's say a situation where I think I can share my platform so we see what I create. Something else, Instagram. Now, this is my platform, Artworks Inc. Oh, sorry. Currently, we are Artworks Agency, and this is how it looks. Now, I'll scroll down before I started doing educational content. So, just a minute. Oh, nice. I think here is something. Now, when it comes to you as an individual, you can create one behind the scenes of things that you're doing. These are behind the scenes for a mini shoot I did, jewelry shoot. You can do a time lapse for a design. You can do a final output showcase of a design you did. This is a website sample I did when I was learning UX UI. You can do you can see design samples for, let's say, a client you did for YouTube thumbnail, YouTube celebration and the likes, holiday celebrations for different platforms. You can do social media. If you did a couple of samples for social media banners for a company, you can showcase them, find a way to showcase them in a creative but really visible way. If you did a single design for a client, the same thing. You need to work with what you currently have. There's no specific way you need to go about it. What do you have now? I have social media banners I've created for client A, client B, client C. So you sit down and look at, so if it's social media banners, I have sample group 1, sample group 2, sample group 3. Did I record behind the scenes? No. So we only have the social media banners. You put in a week, if you have 3 sets of social media designs, those are the only ones you'll post for the week. It's not a bad start. Let's understand this clearly. Starting is the way forward. If you wait for you to have more content, you'll never get there. So start with what you have. So if you have the selected few that you have now, if I'm able to create 3 social media banners to post every week, the first post will go on Monday, the next one Wednesday, the next one Friday. As you progress, as you practice the art of posting your content, you'll get the hang of creating more content, getting more what can I call it, getting more ideas. Now as time goes by, you'll get the hang of it and you'll start creating, let's say, fun content for this, for your platform, then educational content such as this, then also marketing content for yourself. It's a slow step towards gaining that consistency of putting yourself out there. Over time, you'll get to a stage where you post on a daily basis. So this is today. If you can see, these ones are for last week. So typically I always do 5 posts a week, maximum 6 posts. So that is Monday to Saturday. Every day I have a post that's going up. So if I have something extra, then I put it in within the schedule. So you progressively grow from what you have. Do you have social media banners you have created? Yes. Do you have logos that you have created for a client? Yes. Do they have a proper do they have good display? No. Go learn how to display your logo or project files. Let's say if it's social media banners, if it's logos, if it's UX projects, you need to learn how to display them. Then when you learn how to display them, you come and post them here. Then the other option of content, fun memes, fun trends. These are the simple videos that need only less effort. Let's say recording time, it's max of 15 seconds, sorry. Editing time, it's just adding the caption, then you're done. So you just add music, caption, done. These will help you push your content to more audiences, mostly the fun and trendy topics. Now this is for, let's say, TikTok does well with this. and Instagram ish. These got 605, 22 likes. These collapsed. There's this 250, 2555, 88 likes. Then this talk video. So you need to want to look at what do you have in your bank now. What can you use? What is ready to put out there? There is no perfect way of putting it out there. What you have, put it out there. As you go on, you'll find ways to readjust how you present your work. I believe I have my previous bad designs. Let me see. But you always need to start when you can. Start with what you have. Because for whatever reason, you will be able to see your growth. That is one. You will have work that you did 2 years, 3 years ago and still have them here. Digital portfolio, that is. So you have evidence that you've been working. If you tell me I've been a designer for 2 years and then I get to your platform and I can only see work that you did from January because you didn't like the work that you did in 2024 January or 2023 mid, you need to always put what you have done out here. Yeah, I understand we always want to attain or get to the perfect level of things, but it's not really the case. You need to start somewhere. Now, I think these were my first kind of perfect designs. This was 2021. So when you see everything was here, I put everything. They kind of looked cool and the likes. But over time, as a designer now, I wouldn't go for these. I would never go for this. So you put your work out there not because you're trying to showcase the perfect work, the best work. You put your work out there so that at that particular time, a client who's at your level can see what you're offering and can offer you a chance to get or to deliver a service for them. Now, I believe that's that bit. Any questions pertaining type of content? I'm sorry I didn't add a slide for that. If you have any questions, please shoot on the chat. And now, the other bit. So creating multiple. Now, after you get the hang of posting with what you have, then comes creating content, coming up with ideas, shooting them. Now, if you're camera shy, faceless content works. Personally, I'm trying to learn to be in front of the camera, so faceless content works. Do a behind the scenes, a camera beside you, looking at your capturing your monitor, your screen, you in an event, you outside with a meeting, client meeting. Always just try to put yourself in that space where you want to learn, or let's say teach. I think my system is lagging.